Hello, dear viewers. Yes, it is another second, it's another Thursday, it's another minute, it is another hour for you to hang out with us here in the studio. It is time for you to tell somebody, to go tell another person, to tell another person that it is time for your favorite talk show, Hang Out with Amara, that runs every Thursdays from 3:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. only on your favorite station, High TV Cameroon. Many thanks for staying with us on Hang Out with Tamara. It is that program that zooms into the lives of individuals, into the lives of people who are making waves in their respective niches that they've carved out for themselves, and in turn to educate, entertain, and why not most importantly, inspire us as youth to grow in whatever business, in whatever professionalism, in whatever career path that we've chosen for ourselves. Hang Out with Amara is proudly sponsored by Favour Travels Company Limited. Many thanks for staying with us. We're going to take on this jingle break, and when we come back, there's a lot more.
Looking to travel abroad? Favour Travels Limited is your best option. Travel for work with direct employment to Canada and all Schengen member countries. School and tourist visas also available all around the world. Contact us today at 654-74-8999 or 671-452403. Visit our office at Mile 17, Boya, Cameroon.
Welcome back, dear viewers. In case you're just joining us, this is Hang Out with Amara. You haven't missed anything because we always save the best for the last. On today's edition of Hang Out with Amara, we are blessed to be in the presence of Oliver Nshom. He is a public speaker. He is the director of IPS. He is a trainer, a coach. He's a lot more that we're going to be discovering in the course of the program. You're very much welcome, sir.
Thank you, Amara.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, same here.
I don't know if you actually planned it. You're in blue and blue. I mean,
Yeah, sounds like somebody's wedding we're coming to.
most definitely. Now, very quickly, let's dive into the program of the day. If we were to write a summary about Oliver Nshom, what would that storybook look like in your teenagehood?
Okay. Teenager, Oliver Nshom was that kid that troubles the parents. Yeah, that went through dropping out from school 5 times and suffered from ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder.
Okay.
Yeah, as a teenage guy. But then he keeps running after his dream. Yeah, to become the world's best speaker.
You know, recently I was talking to you before we came on set.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about your parents wanted you to become a medical doctor, but you braved all odds to become a public speaker. Talk to us about that.
You know, like they say, passion is contagious. And I'm that one that it came to a level where I cannot really explain how I became so obsessed with public speaking. Yes, dad and mom wanted me to become a medical doctor. Initially I was almost trying to give into the dream about my life. But however, God always have a plan. God always have an assignment, a mission for every of his creators. And so he revealed my mission while I was still very young. And though my parents wanted me to do the other side of it, but I had to stick to it, which was becoming a public speaker who can speak with confidence and help as many people around the world to be also good speakers. And so that's exactly what happened. So I beat all odds to stick to the vision, because I understand clearly that the life we're living is not a game by just trying to do stuff, you know, not doing anything. The life we're living is a unique mission. It's an assignment, and one day we're going to give an account to God of how we fulfill that assignment. So I did not want to be on that day a victim, but I wanted to be a victor. You know, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Talk to us about your university days and afterwards.
That's an interesting question. My university days, I dropped out from university the first year, and I ended up my university by graduating online from Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah, I did my BA in Kenya, Abduram Bible Institute, where I did a BA in leadership management. From there, I had a scholarship in the Atlanta International University in USA, where I'm doing a master in coaching and leadership. So I'm soon to be graduating from my master's in USA.
So you just mentioned about you studying in Kenya to become from a leadership school.
Yeah.
I guess that's becoming a leader
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah.
So what propelled you to get into public speaking instead?
Okay, yeah. What actually the trigger was that growing up as a kid, I loved talking. I was outspoken. You know, that type of kid that everywhere you go, he's just talking things that don't make sense, things that make sense, just talking. So I started asking myself the question, why do I always like to talk? You know, it's very so irritating to see somebody talking, it doesn't make sense. It's very irritating and very funny. So I started asking myself another question. You know, somebody says your passion is a trigger to your purpose. I was like, my passion is talking, so my purpose could definitely be a trainer, a public speaker. And so I started asking myself questions. And I remember vividly Amara, when I was in high school, in lower six, I used to pay my classmates to listen to me talk during break. I tried to convince them I give them 150 francs.
Okay.
Yeah, that's less than around 50 cents. To listen to me talk. Like, I just want to pay them because I wanted somebody to listen to me talk. During break, when we're going home, I will convince my classmate to listen to me. I've read books. I remember I read the book of late Dr. Miles Morales about purpose, discovering your purpose and your potential. It took me almost 1 month, every day, going to school, coming back, I'm talking to somebody about purpose. It was just so obsessed that I've just found myself just, gluing in the whole show. And then to a level where I decided to actually take this professional. The difference between in the Western world and us here in Africa is that when they are focused, the world actually are what people who are professional in one thing, yes, not generalists, the world are what the people who are choosing one thing. And I decided to choose one thing, and that one thing was public speaking. Yeah.
Now, talking about public speaking, talk to us about your experience so far in public speaking. How can you describe it?
Okay, my experience so far in public speaking, it has been a good one. It has been a challenging one. It has been so painful.
Okay.
Yeah, it has been so painful. In 2013, if I remember vividly, in 2013 I was invited. I was in Douala, in the city of Douala. One secondary school, which I'm not going to call the name here, got me to speak to the high school kids, about succeeding, preparing for exams, and what to do after A levels. So I left my house. I was so broke that I never had transport to pay to go to the school to talk. So I trekked a distance of over closer to 25 kilometers. Yeah, I trekked to the school. So when I arrived there, I was tired, I was sweating like crazy. And I finally saw the school administration that they took me to the hall. I saw students. So I spoke to them. I got tired. And when I finished talking, I came back and they congratulated me. And they actually gave me 500 francs CFA. They said, they might definitely get back to me.
Okay.
But I bet you, Amara, that 500 francs could not even take me back to my house. What I needed at least 1,000 francs to get to my home. So what that made to me was that on my way home I had to trek 50% of my distance.
That is about 12.5
kilometers. And then I had to pay 500 to the rest of the distance. I got home. So when I got home that day, I almost vowed, public speaking and me, we are over. And I'm going to get a job. I cried. I sat in my bed. I was crying like, who called me here? So And from that day, that was when I knew that I'm going to be a speaker.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a story that God gave me. I have so many of those stories. And so when I go through the challenges, the pain, it only tells me how I can make it. Yeah, it's also somebody say you always learn to turn your pain into your gain. And there's always a way that your mess is connected to your message or to your purpose. And so I had to convert that mess into my message today that I'm preaching it. And so those are some awful experiences that have happened. But of course, they're interesting experiences, okay?
Definitely.
I'm just coming back from Rwanda, where I was training in different universities, with top universities in Rwanda, like University of Kigali, Independent University of Kigali, University of Lay Adventist, Mount Kenya University, where I was training degree students, master students in the art of public speaking. And away from that, I had a training, a master class I've organized in Chiba Hotel in Kigali, where I trained quite some executives there on public speaking. I remember this day in Yaoundé, I was invited in one church, and they asked me to say something. I got up there, and in 3 minutes, I was able to pitch what I do. And there's this lady, I never knew her. She just walked up to me and said, "Son, the Lord has spoken to me. I should bless you with this $100 US. Take it." Well, I've never heard $100 US in my life. I've done talk about $100 US, but I've never seen it.
Okay.
So when she gave me the money, I look at it. I never knew the value. And somebody told me that this is around 55,000 francs. I was like, wow, this is great.
Those are the happy moments of public
Yeah, these are the happy
speaking,
moments of God. They're always there. So these are some little experiences I can share.
So you made mention about the fact that you carried out an activity about public speaking in one school, and then you were given 500 francs, which was not up to your transportation back home, and then you cried. Is it that most of the times when you get to a situation in life or in your career path that you feel that pain, is it like a message to say you're convinced that this is what I'm meant to do?
Exactly. You know, the only thing that can really like we're saying right now, what can encourage and inspire somebody listening to us right now is not how I was in South Africa, not how I was in Rwanda. No. That's not what encourages people, inspire people listening. All right? Like everybody can do that, everybody can travel. Sure. But now what inspires people is the pain that you went through. And so just telling people that you've succeeded and they don't know the route you've taken to be where you got, does make sense. So now, I bet you what kept me going is the type of challenges I have. Because anytime I face a challenge, and when God sees me through, that's a message to me. Son, I'm with you, and I'm not going to leave you alone. I'm going to take you through to the end. And I'm motivated and inspired. So when I go through these challenges, anytime I'm crying and talking to God, He keep convincing me that I am with you, and this is what I want you to do. Everything that's happening right now is temporary, but there shall be joy in the morning. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about your visions for IPES.
Okay.
So what sums up you and your vision? Generally you and then vision for IPES.
Okay. Beautiful question, Favour. Our vision is to ensure that 78% of the world population, every household in the world, can be able to speak with confidence and in an outstanding way, anywhere he or she finds himself. That's our vision. And that sounds like a big vision.
Definitely.
Like the whole world, in
it's
Africa,
huge.
Cameroon, right? Yeah, your vision must be so much bigger than you and your team. That's what it's called a vision. So that's our vision for IPES. And personally, I cannot achieve the vision alone. It takes a committed team. So we are in a campaign to recruit lecturers, lecturers around the world that we can train. And so now we have lecturers in USA, South Africa, Britain, yes. And so this is just the core. So we want to expand our network by getting more lecturers, especially young people that have gone through our trainings. We can train them and certify them to be lecturers so they can join us in this vision, so we can expand it to the four corners of the world and making 78% of the world population at least being able to speak comfortably. Yeah.
You know, a lot of people have this misconception about public speaking. They mistake it a lot for motivational speaking.
Right.
What's your take on that?
Yeah. I remember we started sharing about this lately. the other day my wife made a funny joke. She was like, mine. When I was getting married to you, you used to call yourself a motivational speaker. But now, I'm not hearing motivational speaking again. But I'm hearing that public speaker. Like, what happened? What happened with motivational speaking? I told her that there's what we call upgrading and updating. That the world is evolving and we need to be emerging. So the concepts keep changing. The dynamics keep changing. So I told her that, well, by then it was motivational speaking. I've just grown from a motivational speaker to a public speaker and a trainer. So now, motivational speaking, the speakers focusing on motivating people, making people to believe, to have confidence in themselves. And it's kind of temporal. It's kind of temporal. Like when you're depressed, somebody comes and say, hey, Favour, it's okay, it's going to be fine. That's motivational speaking. But public speaking is beyond that. It's beyond that. It goes right on to conference speaking, right? It goes to corporate training. It goes down to celebrity coaching, right? Now, that's what public speaking. So motivational speaking is a subset of public speaking. Just like journalism is a subset of public speaking, right? Or teaching in class is a subset of public speaking. So public speaking is like the grandfather. Motivational speaking is like a cousin, to that family of public speaking. And so when we talk of public speaking, we're looking at persuading, entertaining, inspiring, and educating people. That's public speaking. Persuading, entertaining, inspiring, and educating people. Those are the 4 core words that make up public speaking. But however, motivational speaking at times has just to do with persuading and inspiring. Need to an extent educating. But at times they don't really, they also entertain, but they don't go deeper. They're always shallow. But public speakers and trainers will go deep, right to the roots, and we talk about theories, we talk about how it evolved, we talk about how you can get the best out of it.
You talked about there are people you look up to.
Yeah.
Now, in this career path of public speaking, who inspires you with that joy?
Okay.
It's usually said that in everything you want to do, mentorship is important, and of course, coaching too is important. So who inspires you in this career path?
Okay. Who inspired me? First of all, my first mentor is the Holy Spirit. Okay. At times I'm running out of ideas, out of concept, out of information. But at times the Holy Spirit always whispered to me, son, take this one. And that alone kept me going a lot. However, there are some human beings I look up to. And one of such is Simon Sinek. I don't know if you heard of Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek is the author of Your Why, Know Your Why. A lot of people jump into stuff, they don't know why they're doing why. Like, before you decided to become a journalist, there's a problem you want to solve with your journalism skill. Before you wanted to become a cameraman, photographer, there's a problem you solve. There's a bridge you want to, a problem you want to bridge. So with that, we need to understand that Simon Sinek inspires me a lot. I listen to him literally every day. Yeah. When I listen to him and see how far he has gone and what he's doing, I believe that I can. I can. And so I got a lot of tips from him that keeps me going. And of course, I have my very mentor in South Africa. We did some trainings together, and he's taking me like every week. You have sessions with him. That is Sten Rosso. Sten Rosso is a top international speaker. He's a speaker trained by Zig Ziglar. Yeah, Tom Ziglar is the son of Zig Ziglar, which they are very close friends together. So that's somebody that I'm so close to him, and he just takes me as a son, and he's mentoring me. He's doing a lot. And those are some very close guys that I'm looking a lot up to them. Apart from that, we have other people around the world. But the people I really work with them closely, they are these 2 guys I just mentioned them. But I also listen to Vosi Tembokwaya. This is an South African entrepreneur and a fintech technologist. So the guy is amazing. I also watch a lot of. So what I do literally, I follow over 10 people on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, who I learn every day from them, who are in this industry of public speaking. And that is how I do. So those are my mentors.
So talking about mentorship, aside from the fact that I meet people who come on the show and in one way or the other, they tend to coach me, they tend to mentor me, but I don't know, as a coach, a trainer, and a leader, does it have a right time for one to go in search of a mentor or a coach? Okay.
Does it have a right time? Can you repeat the question again?
Like as a trainer, as a mentor, as a leader,
Yeah.
is there a right time for one to go in search of a coach or a mentor?
Yes, of course. Now, Favour, there's something I want us to understand here. There's a interpretation and understanding between mentorship and coaching, right? Yeah. Many people misconstrued mentorship for coaching. Now, first of all, the answer to your question, there is always a right time to get one. The moment you make up your mind, I want to become a professional photographer, a professional journalist, a professional speaker, there you have to look for your mentors and coaches. Now, what's the difference between a mentor and a coach? A coach is that expert who is so good at what he does, and you have really looked at that person that he is good at what he does, and he has teachability skills, and he can also teach others that thing. And so you want to gain a skill in a particular thing, in a particular area in your life. And you get a coach who can come in and give you a pat on the back and suggest ideas and inspire you and motivate you to achieve that result. That's a coach. For instance, we have football coaches, all right? At times, after they play the match, they can sack the coach and get a different person. You understand? We have music coaches, okay? You can have somebody who coaches you how to play saxophones, who can just teach you how to play saxophone, coach you, and then cut off the relationship. So a coach is a temporary somebody who comes in at a particular time when there is need to help you achieve a particular result or goal. That's a coach. Now on the other side, a mentor is somebody that at times is a lifetime. It's somebody you admire so much, you look up to. He might be younger than you or older than you. He may be the same career, profession or industry with you or different industry. Now this person comes in and he actually shares experiences, he listens to your own experiences, he give you ideas, innovative ideas that can help you to grow. I will say there are three reasons why we all need mentors, right? The first reason is that the mentor helps us in our ability to grow. You know, there are things I've learned from my mentor that if I never had them, I couldn't have learned those things. The mentor helps us in our ability, it helps us to reduce our errors in life. You understand? Like there are some things, if you don't ask your mentor how to go about them, you make errors. You earn yourself, losing a lot of money. Like research, statistics prove that every year the entire world lost over $6.5 trillion by errors because of things they just jump into doing without planning effectively. So that's what happens when we don't get mentors we don't seek advice from our mentors that are going to help us. No, there's an African proverb that says that what an old man sits down and see, the young man claiming the tallest mountain in the world, Mount Everest, will never see that thing. That's the power of mentorship. So when you have a mentor, he has sit down and seen very far. And when you seek advice from the mentor, he comes now and tells you, the son, don't go this way, go that way. And when you see guys who are making it big in this world are people who have mentor and they're working closely with them. So I think the difference between mentorship and coaching is shared. Now the question, just to complement to the answer I've already given. So the point is, do you know what you want to do? Or do you know your why of existence? Once you find that, please, you need to get out there immediately and get a mentor or a coach. Now, why immediately? Because the moment you delay, anything can happen and you can be derailed. That's why we live in a world where there's a lot of confusion. The moment you pick up your phone to answer the call, you end up sending a text. You pick up your phone to send a text, you end up answering a call and end up doing different things you never planned for. There's a need for planning, and coaches and mentors, they really help a lot to plan. Yeah. Then leadership, there was an aspect of leadership in it?
Not really. I was saying as a leader. Okay. But then you mentioned about giving a pat on the back.
Yeah.
Most often, I want to come back to motivational speakers.
Right.
It said that some of them, if I may say, they say that you just have to keep working. You just have to keep working. You work hard, and then you get to where you want to get to, and then you can take your time and sit down to relax.
Right.
But talking about the pat on the back, is it that there is a particular time to which you have to sit and say, "Oh, I've done this. I need to be refreshed. I mean, I've really done this."
Okay.
Is it right to sit for a while and give a pat on the back? Is it always important for you to give a pat on the back?
Okay. Yeah, if I understood your question well, is it right to keep working until you achieve it before you rest, or you can rest along the way as you're working to achieve it?
Talking about that, I used an example of motivational speakers.
Right.
We sometimes say that you need to keep working for as long as possible till you get there. Fake it till you make it.
Oh, right.
Okay, then you talked about giving a pat on the back. So is it right for someone to, let's say, for example, I finish an interview here, and then I go back to the house, I'm like, oh, I did it today.
Okay.
I deserve to be praised that Amara has done it today because I did an interview with Oliver Shum.
Okay.
Is it right for you to sometimes sit, even without necessarily making it to the top, for you to give a pat on the back?
All right, great. Yeah. It's very important. It's very important. You know, what can make anyone to succeed is that by at times sitting down and observing yourself, appreciating yourself, and criticizing. Now, one of the trigger to success is celebrations. You notice with big companies or some startup, the secret they have at times that takes them far and faster is that the least success they record, they throw a party, they celebrate, they make noise, and that's a powerful momentum they're building for the next success.
Okay.
Yes. So when you celebrate a little wins, it always generates more momentum to celebrate bigger wins. Now you bet with me that momentum to start is always the highest, but momentum to keep going is never the highest.
Yes.
For instance, if you've been very familiar with gates that you have to pull them before they go, right? You notice that when you want to pull the gate, okay, to lock the gate, now the energy it takes, to take the gate to start moving is highest. Now, when the gate is moving, it's easy just to push it for it to go on banks.
Yes.
You understand? That's exactly what happens with life. Now, when you celebrate your wins, your little wins, it always reminds you that you can do better. You can do better, Favour. You can do better, Amarachi. And when you keep doing that, you win more. You win more. You win more. But however, on the other side, somebody who wins a lot that does not celebrate, he barely stay the pressure, okay, to sustain the success. He always find a way of retrenching, So it is very important, like motivational speaker will say, to celebrate, to celebrate your successes, okay? No matter how small it is, celebrate them. Because there is a miracle, there's a psychology that triggers you to succeed more when you celebrate. But however, there are some people who over-celebrate. That's where I have a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, because for instance, you have A-level, 11 papers and maybe 25 points. That is amazing. That's outstanding success, remarkable success. Now, when you sit down, that, I made it. I've worked very hard. I've succeeded. I bet you will end up with 3 or 2 E's in advanced level. And that's what happened. That's what happened in real life. There are many students who have good grade in A-level and O-levels, but when they go to high school, they are a mess because they over-celebrated. So when we're celebrating, we should be cautious that we don't have to over-celebrate. We should know that there's still a big target at the head.
Too much of everything is a disease. Huh?
Too much of everything is a disease. Thank you.
Dear listeners, we've been hearing a whole lot from Oliver Shum, and I guess the conversation is getting more sweeter, but I'm going to beg on you to take on this short commercial break, and when we come back, there's a lot more.
Looking to travel abroad? Laviv Travels Limited is your best option. Travel for work with direct employment to Canada and all Schengen member countries. School and tourist visas also available all around the world. Contact us today at 654-74-8999 or 671-452403. Visit our office at mile 17 Boya, Cameroon.
Welcome back, dear viewers. In case you're just joining us, this is Hangout with Amara, #1 inspirational program that runs every Thursdays from 3:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. If you're just joining us, do not be traumatized because we always save the best for the last. And of course, we're going to continue with the program as we get a lot more from Oliver Shum. Now, let's talk about your book.
Okay.
You are a great author. You've written over 8 to 9 books. And of course, the most recent one is Think Out of the Box. And that one, I must say, it's so powerful, inspiring from the feedback I've been following so closely from people. And of course, to say that it is one of the best-selling books in recent times. So talk to us about this book. What's the message behind think after the box.
Wow. Thank you. Now, the message behind step out of the box is this. Oh, I love that. Thank you for the question. There are a lot of people that are growing up in the jail cell.
Okay.
I was that kid that nobody ever believed in me. In fact, if you came to my village, Ukudum, right, and you wanted to see the child that will never succeed in the entire village, they will call my name. I think so. Yeah, because I was stubborn. I was just naughty. I had a demonic possession. I was possessed by the demon. I was so possessed, and it was funny. I was just crazy. That's why I dropped out of school so many times. Mom and dad, they never just care sending me to school. I'll go to school when I want to go, when I love to be in class, and when I'm not more interested about it, I jump out of it and I come back to school. I start climbing trees and eating my mangoes and guavas. You can imagine that type of child. So there was no hope. There was no hope. They always talk about, this guy cannot do anything. This guy is good for nothing. Now, of course, I was insulted, abused. You can't do anything. You're good for nothing child. And so that built a psychology in me that I can only be good for nothing child. So I put that experience like a jail cell. I was in the jail. I was in psychological jail. I was locked up, and I was stuck idiot, stupid, and that thing that kept me, like not making progress. And I want to take this opportunity to advise parents: stop calling your children bad names, because what you say is what you get. Remember, the Bible says in Mark chapter 11 verse 23. Whatever you say to this mountain, if you say to this mountain, move, the mountain shall move. What you believe, you say it and believe, that's what happens. So there are a lot of children today that are going through a lot of problems and frustration and tribulation in their life that is caused by the parents, because they say it. And when a father or a mother is talking to the child, he's prophesying. And what he says is what comes to pass. So parents, watch out. What you say to your children, stop calling your children those names, because what he says is what you get. So that's what happened. But thank God, however, a miracle took place. And God delivered me from that spirit of stubbornness. And I became a very good child. And that's why I'm here today.
Wow.
So I was like in the jail cell. So the book Step Out of the Box is actually, I stepped out of the box. So the box was stupid, idiot, good for nothing, And that was the box. So stepping out of the box was coming out from that tagline, to be a good child, to be a nation builder, to be a trailblazer, to be an impact maker, and to be one of the persons that building Africa, the continent of Africa. So the book is written for anybody that was once insulted, that was one not believed by classmates, like my classmates to mock at me. I was not the brightest student. I was always taking the last numbers. I bet you. I could not read in class 7. Okay. 2004, I could not read. I don't know what happened. God did a miracle. And so what happened is that I had to share my story with the world and help as many million and billion of people. I know that a lot of people are going through what I went through. So to help them also to step out of their own boxes, because I actually did have to step up. So that's literally what the book is all about. So if you're suffering psychological trauma, you're traumatized, you're abused, you are struggling to fight back from who they have known you to be, and you want to be who you really think God wants you to be, that's a good book. That's why I wrote the book. That's why. Because, Favour, at times there are some people who see me today, they're very confused. They used to think that this is still the same Oliver, and that's a problem. Like that's a problem that many people face. Like when they see you, they think that, oh, it's still the same person. But it's kind of, you're born again. Everything is old. Yeah, you change. You're becoming a new creature. That's literally the concept of step out of the box.
Quite interesting.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about AIPS once again.
Yeah.
Is it possible to separate Oliver Nshom from a public speaker and AIPS? Is it possible for one to separate Oliver Nshom from public speaking and AIPS?
Yeah. I don't think it's possible. It's intertwined.
Okay.
No, there's an intersection. There's an intersection between Oliver Nshom, AIPS, and public speaking. Oliver Nshom is simply the vision bearer. Yeah, that's all. Because AIPS is a whole team, it's a whole community of believers in public speaking, or disciples in public speaking. And so Oliver Nshom is the vision bearer, and there are a lot of people behind the vision of AIPS, and they are working every day to make it possible. And interestingly, most of these people are public speakers, and some are not even public speakers. Like we have staff who might not, who are just working to support the vision in what little they can do, but they're not public speakers. There's some desire to become public speakers. And so that's the intersection. So everything is about public speaking. Yeah, but Nshom has his vision, Ives has his vision, and then public speaking, is a world art.
But Nshom is the vision bearer.
Yes,
of all of the above.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about the challenges. It's usually said that there is nothing good you do.
Yeah.
There's nothing great you do. Yeah. That you don't have great challenges. The greater you go, the greater the challenges.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about your setbacks. What has been your major setbacks in your career path, and also how has this helped you to become the leader, the coach, the trainer, the public speaker that you are?
Okay. Wow. Amarachi, I must acknowledge your questions are very interesting, very inspiring. Great question. Well, I've really gone through a lot of challenges. It's like the time came in my life where every week I cry. I have to cry. Every week, like literally every week, I have to cry. I go sit somewhere, I cry alone. I wipe my tears, I wash my face, and I get back. Like, true story. So why did I do that? Now, I thank God for my wife. She has been really encouraging me and supporting me a lot. At times, men don't cry at times in front of the wives. You want to feel strong.
Yes, strong.
But however, there are times that I think I cried in front of her once. Like, why? Why is this thing happening to me? Right? So she encouraged me. One day, I had a very strange experience in public speaking field. So we normally do public speaking trainings, competitions. We started in Buya. We started in Bamenda, 2018-19. Went to Nshom, University in Nshom. We did that in Nshom. We came to Buya. We did that in Buya. I think 2020 in Buya, at the Monaco Stadium. Okay. We went to Yaoundé last year, Yaoundé 2021. We did that in Yaoundé. So I had a very strange experience, my dear Favour, in Yaoundé last year. This is what happened. When I came back from South Africa, I started discussing with my team how we're gonna do this thing. Everything was okay. Everything was moving well. Along the way, we went 1 week to the training, 3 days to the training, and I expected to have my team members in Yaoundé. I bet you, absolutely none came. Like nobody. They told me that there are some issues that pops up, family issues, and that could not really make it up. So I find myself in the middle of trainees who have come to learn in the competition or in the context. I was alone for 2 days, and there was a bunch of tasks that are supposed to happen. Well, I blame myself for everything, for what happened, but I almost cried literally in front of all those trainees. It was an emotional experience, and I don't really want to talk about this now.
Okay.
So what happened was that I don't know what happened. Nobody came. So I had to do the training alone and everything. But thank God, however, God brought some people. There were some trainees who came to learn. They volunteered and joined me. They worked together with me. And God just sent people left, right. And at the end of the day, I just found myself with a new team. And it just went so well. The training was very successful. In fact, that's when we launched the African Inclusive Institute of Public Speaking.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when we launched it last year. And the way it turned out was not what I was, seeing. Okay. However God did it, I don't know. So I learned that as a leader, never work on plan A alone. Always have a plan B, plan C. In fact, always be scenarios. The reason why some companies succeed, a company can get burnt today, the next day they are operating, is because they have asked questions. The leadership have asked questions. What in case if this happened? What will you do? What in case if this happened? What will you do? So they have built scenarios and provide solutions to all the scenarios they have built, and that helps them when there is a crisis situation. Okay. So that's exactly the lesson I learned from that experience. Like, you have a team, but do your best, but don't trust the team, because the times come, the team will fail as a leader. So you have to keep on building new team members so that in case anything happens, you can easily substitute and you keep moving. Because if you don't, one day you will cry.
You will cry. You no longer be a strong man.
Yes. You no longer be a strong man. Yeah, I don't mind. I wanted to cry, but I did not cry.
You're making me laugh so hard. You always seem energized. Yeah. I remember the last time we went to Douala, you were very energized.
Yeah.
We were talking lately, and I was like, okay. When you came here, you were like, hello, I'm Oliver Nshom, and everything was so smooth. I mean, as a trainer, you're that energized. You're always strong as a coach. So, what are some of the things you do to incorporate this lifestyle to make you this energized? Is it that as a trainer you ought to always be energized, or you ought to always be at the top of your game?
Wow, that's a great question. So Tony Robbins will tell you that every morning he jumps into the pool. When he gets off from bed, he runs and jumps into the swimming pool, and he will swim for some minutes before he comes out and starts his work, right? Bosu Temokwai will tell you that every morning he gets up, he goes to the gym. He does a lot of pumping to get energy before he goes, right? Oprah Winfrey will tell you that every morning she gets up and she will she will do some, spiritual pray, kind of meditations, mindfulness, and so on. But what I do to get my own energy is that I really just pray. I really just love the Word of God. Yeah. I really just love the Word of God. That's something that I desire not to pass a day where I have not studied the Word of God. Because there is a type of electricity that it contaminates me with. And everything I have with me, praise God, is for my good. That's what keeps me going. Like, if I tell you the type of experiences I had in this industry, you will not believe. But what keeps me going is the promises of God for my life. He keeps telling me that greater is He that is in you than He is in the world. So, the one who is in me is probably so energized. And I believe I am an optimist, Favour. I am an optimist. I'm not a pessimist. And somebody said something very interesting. This is what the person said. Pessimists are always right. Optimists are always wrong. But interestingly, most of the amazing and outstanding, remarkable things in the world are always achieved by optimists. I don't even notice that.
Yes, I know.
When a pessimist says that this thing cannot work, he has all the reason. He's by logic.
Yes.
But the optimist tells you work. But you don't know how he's going to do that. But there's something we need to understand. There's what I call the reticular activity system. The reticular activity system is part of the frontal lobe of your brain that works so much with the law of attraction. That what you believe and constantly believe and talk about it is what you get. So that's a little bit of how I am.
Okay.
So operating as an optimist, that is how I do my things, and that's where I get my energy from.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Dear viewers, I hope you're also learning a whole lot from Oliver Nshom. I've been laughing a whole lot today. I don't know why. Maybe because the guest is quite interesting. We're going to take on this short commercial break, and when we come back, there's a little more. Don't go nowhere.
Looking to travel abroad? Laviv Travels Limited is your best option. Travel for work with direct employment to Canada and all Schengen member countries. School and tourist visas also available all around the world. Contact us today at 654-74-8999 or 671-452403. Visit our office at mile 17 Boya, Cameroon.
Welcome back, dear viewers. In case you're just joining us once again, this is Hangout with Amarachi, number one inspirational program that zooms into the lives of individuals who are making waves in their respective niches, and of course, to in turn inspire us to grow even better. And why not the best? We're going to tap a whole lot from our guest of today, who is Oliver Nshom. He's been telling us a whole lot, and I've been laughing a whole lot in this program. And join me, let's laugh together while we learn. You made mention about spirituality before we went on break. There was this thing you wrote on your status. I want to read it out. You said, "Who is your enemy? Anyone who breaks your focus from a God-given assignment point. You can fulfill your assignment when you identify your enemies and dodge them." Can you ascertain this?
Yeah. Oh, thanks so much for bringing me back to that. Yeah. You know, I wrote that stuff when I just finished reading the book.
Okay.
It was an amazing book. I got that inspiration after reading the book. The book is titled Assignment. It's written by my Modoc. Yeah. So I had a trigger to come out with that. So I learned that our assignment is the only thing that brought us on earth. And it's very interesting that we need to stay focused to our assignment. But however, it's very pitiful that many people are not doing their assignment. They're just busy doing other people's assignment or supporting other people in doing their assignment, which is so painful. I really recommend everybody to read that book, Assignment by Mike Modoc. Now, your enemy is the one who distracts you from focusing on your assignment. Yeah, that's just paraphrase. And that's just how I look at it. Because there is no way you can succeed in life. There's no way you can call anybody your friend who is not helping you to achieve your assignment. And so anyone who is helping you not to achieve your assignment is your enemy. Because on the last day, God will judge you, you know, not that person. And so the person is actually making God to judge you for succeeding in your assignment, and which is very dangerous. So we should be very careful and alert, because every day people keep coming to our lives. And some people just come into our lives to try to, you know, to sap our energy away, you know, to derail us away from our core mission on earth, which is our assignments on earth. So literally, we have a bunch of enemies. You know, there are some employers that are enemies. Yeah, there are some employers out there that are enemies. They just want to sap all your energy to serve their missions, you know, their visions, dreams, and they don't in any way help you to achieve your own assignment. For instance, let me give you a practical example, right? Now, how do employers at times act as enemies? There are some employers that never care to find what you're good at. They just want you to do what you're supposed to do. And they just recruit you or employ you, and they keep you anywhere, in as much as they're going to pay you a salary. That's another way that people sell their destinies, by salary. So a good employer who is not your enemy is that one who asks you, what are your core competencies? What is your passion? What are your aspirations? And he makes sure that your job description ties directly with what you love doing. That's not your enemy. So any employer that is not helping the staff or the employees to fit into what they love doing, what they're passionate doing, they're enemies to me. So your enemy could be anybody. Your parents could be your enemies. You know, your children could be your enemies. Your friends, your brothers and sisters could be your enemies if they are not helping you to align to your assignment that God has given you, especially when you know. So even when you don't know your assignment, you are your enemy. So there are a lot of people who are enemies to themselves too by not knowing their assignment. So the first thing on earth you should do is not maybe trying to go to school. It's not trying to get a job, but it's trying to find out, what am I here for? And once you get that, I bet you always know how to select or to filter the enemies from friends.
So how can you know your assignment on earth?
Beautiful. Now, how did I know my assignment? Okay. How did I? So growing up as a kid, more than 1,000 people told me that, Oliver, you're good in public speaking, right? You inspired me a lot. Anytime we discuss, I have a lot of classmates who told me, anytime we sit, we're discussing, I always learn something new from you. So so there are three ways you can do that. The first way is like what people say, the general populace, you know, is very important. At times, there's what I call the blind spot. You can never see your back. So when I tell you that, you know, Favour, there's something in your back, you have to check it, okay? You can never see your blind spot. So when people tell you that, hey, I love the way you always do this thing. I love the way you handle this show. I love the way you do things. Take note. That's a trigger. That's a pointer to your assignment. So what are people telling you you're good about? Think about that thing. Secondly, that's the God way, you know. What do you naturally do with ease? That anytime you start doing it, you just love to do it. And you do it with that stress. And people struggle. They fight to do it. What is that thing? Personally, I just love to talk to people. If you put 10,000 people in front of me, that's the most happiest moment of my life. And I'm going to really talk to them without any stress. I know exactly what to do to keep them, you know, focusing on me until I finish my talk, you know, even if it's for 2 hours or 3 hours or more, without them getting tired. So what do you naturally love to do that when you do it, you always love doing it and you don't have stress doing it? That's a pointer and that's a trigger to your assignment. And what is that last thing? What is that thing that you can do for free? Even if they don't pay you, you prefer to run away, you know. And now I just finished reading a book, I think my mother too, and then he was talking about Brian Tracy, yeah. He said this is how what he does, right? So he asked the question, what is that thing, right, that if you were to do and they don't pay you for, you will still continue doing it. Even if they don't continue paying you for, you will still continue doing it. Even if they don't continue paying you for. And you love to come and do that thing. You even do it, like to pay the person that you're doing it for him to do it. What is that thing? I just shared earlier in the course of the interview that I used to pay my classmates to listen to me talk. You understand? Because I never had someone to pay me to talk. So I started by paying people to listen to me talk. And now today they're paying me to listen to me. So that's how you know your assignment.
You also made mention about salaries being destiny destroyers, if I got you correctly.
Yeah.
Is it that for one to get a job and get a salary is part of you getting your destiny destroyed?
Okay.
I mean, everybody cannot be an entrepreneur. Like,
absolutely.
Everybody cannot own an industry.
Yeah.
There must be workers.
Yeah.
So if you say salaries are destiny destroyers, what do you mean?
I hope you do not perceive me as a motivational speaker then.
No, I didn't.
Okay, let me be a little bit like a motivational speaker right now. All right. So this is what I did. In 2021, last year, I quit my job. I had a very good paying job as in working in the hospital as a hospital staff, and I quit the job. You know why I quit the job? I noticed that my assignment, for me to fulfill my assignment, it would take at least 16 hours every day of work. And I don't know if you heard of the 10,000 hours effect. You heard of 10,000 hours effect, right? The 10,000 hours effect is a concept whereby in anything you're into, if you can practice for 10,000 hours, you become among the top best or top 10 in that industry. And for you to do that in 3 years, you need to take at least 16 hours every day and practice it. So I noticed that my job was a distraction. My salary was a bribe that I was paying to run away from my God.
A bribe, huh?
So I was, so it was like a bribe, So when I realized that, I started making plans. Take note of what I'm saying. When I realized that my job was a distraction to my assignment, I started making plans. So I started saving. There's what we call the run rate. The run rate is your ability. If you don't have any job to do today, you don't have anything doing that gives money to you, how long will you continue to living a happy life, a good life, like eating 3 square meters a day, paying your rent if you're renting, and being able to feed your children? That's the run rate. So your ability to not be working and continue feeding your family and moving around and doing trainings is your run rate. So I had to work on my run rate, but when I wanted to quit my job at first, my run rate was almost 0. So if I quit my job the next month, I'm not going to eat, and the next month I'm not going to pay house rent. Yeah. So I had to work on my run rate. So I had to save some money, do a lot of investment, and at a certain point, I quit the job. And so when I quit the job, the first thing I did, I went for further training in South Africa, and I came back, I started the school, and I just moved from one level to another. So I noticed that my job, my salary was kind of a bribe. I was bribing myself to continue working away from my assignment. I had to quit and then focus on my assignment. And before then, though the error you could do to quit your job is just quitting without having a good run rate. Yeah, so work on your run rate, then quit.
As a public speaker, we cannot let you out of this place without simply getting a tip or two about public speaking from you.
Yeah, I love this.
So what can one possibly do to be a good public speaker?
Great. 3 things. First, in the course of the interview, probably we make some errors in pronunciation, in giving statistics. No, I don't think giving statistics. However, as a speaker, one of the greatest errors a speaker can make is saying I'm sorry on stage or say I'm sorry on the mic. Okay. I will say a lot of things wrong, but I will not say I'm sorry. It's not because I'm proud. It's an ethical issue. For instance, if I want to say, if I want to give a statistic, for instance, okay, so in every 7 women around the world, 6 suffer abuse from their husbands. And in every 4 men around the world, 3 suffer abuse from their wives. Okay, that's the right statistics. Now, if I'm speaking in public and say, in every 7 men around the world, 6 of them suffer abuse from their wives. And in every 4 women, 3 suffer abuse from their husband. Did you hear what I said? I said that in every 7 women around the world, 6 suffer abuse from their husbands. And in every 4 men, 3 suffer abuse from their wives. Get what I did? So I have made an error, and I'm not saying I'm sorry, but I've just reiterated it in a higher tone with a lot of emphasis. Okay. So that's the key message to anybody who wants to become a public speaker. Don't say I'm sorry on stage. When you make an error, you go back, correct yourself, and then come back strongly. First. Second, now it is very funny and unethical to see a professional speaker starting a speech by saying, I'm sorry for coming late. It was because of circumstances beyond my comprehension or management. Have you heard people say that?
Yes, I have.
In church,
A
lot of events. That's hell. That's bullshit. It pains my heart when they do that.
Okay.
So people ask me, don't you want us to be honest enough? Yes, be honest, but this is what they do. Now, when you come late, for whatever reason, don't start by apologizing. Do not start by apologizing. Start with A grade or A grade plus. Start in a very high tone. For instance, hello everyone, I'm so very excited to be here. All right. Now, how many of you are super excited to be here today? Okay. All right. Beautiful. So my name is Nshom, and today I'm going to be walking you through 10 secrets to become a world-class speaker. And in this presentation, I'm going to teach you the skill that Oprah Winfrey, Simon Sinek, Jen C. Maxwell, they are practicing and took them to where they are. And if you follow me, you're going to learn the same thing and practice the same thing they're doing. So, however, I want to apologize for, you know what I'm doing?
Okay.
I've not started by apologizing, but I've started and give a lot of hope and promise them stuff that I'm going to give them, and now I'm apologizing. At this point, I say, oh, it's okay. Just go ahead and tell us the things. Is that making sense?
Yes, it is.
Beautiful. That is what you should do as a speaker. Because when you come and apologize, people don't take you serious. Like, this guy, you're not serious.
Okay.
You're not the right person for this event. Right. And lastly, one thing you should never do as a speaker. I learned this from Simon Sinek, my very amazing coach. He said, as a speaker, learn to always give and not to take. Learn to give and not to take. You know, there are a lot of trainings I've gone through, and the speaker is talking and then advertising his books, you know, advertising his e-courses. And like, if you want to get more about this thing, buy my book. If you want to get more about this thing, go to my website, buy this course. I don't do that. I'm not sure I ever do that. Now, as a speaker, when you're paid to speak, Favour, they paid you 1 hour to train, okay? So what you're supposed to do is to train them for that 1 hour. Every second counts. Time is not only money, but time is life, right? Every second counts. What that means is that if you're asked to talk for 25 minutes or to train for 25 minutes, take all the 25 minutes and train. I bet you guys, if you do a great job, they will come back running after you to even buy your books that you've not talked about and to get your e-courses. So as a speaker, learn to always give. Don't take. When you go to train, it's because they have sought you out. They have noticed that you're a subject expert master. And there's something you're good about that everybody might not be good at. And they have called you to come and give that thing. So give them. And there are many other tips that time cannot tell us. Yeah.
If they've called you as a public speaker,
Yeah.
give them.
Give them.
Don't receive.
Don't receive. Don't take from them. Give to them.
Give to them.
Yeah. Because when you give, God will always multiply.
That's right. So let's talk about what are some of the primary requirements for public speaking?
Great. Primary requirement for public speaking, and I earlier said public speaking is training. Yeah, training is public speaking, conference speaking. You know, now at the level of conference speaking or being a motivational speaker, you need a story.
Okay.
You need a story. Your story is very important. You heard my stories, right? You love listening to my stories. It makes you laugh. You need a story. That's the first thing. Second thing, you need to be trained.
Okay.
Yeah, it's dangerous to be doing something you're not trained at. You commit errors and you live to regret. You can kill people. Imagine a doctor who's not trained. You know what can happen? You know, he can just mess up with anybody's mother's or father or brother or sister. So you need to be trained, okay? And the last thing, you need to be certified.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, you need to be certified. And then, from then, you plunge into the field. You start making your mistakes and learning and growing. So those are the three things. The first thing, get a story to share, you know, get something you're passionate about sharing with people, you know, and then get trained and then get certified. Certification is very crucial. There are often companies and institutions that they will never, ever open their doors to you if you're not certified. And of course, certification has to do with higher education. Like, I could have just ended with my degree, but I had to do a master's degree. And I'm not doing a master's degree in any university. You know, I'm doing a master's degree in a top international university. It's very important. It's part of my branding. Like, imagine I'm a graduate from Atlanta International University, master. It adds to what I'm doing, because there are people who love to hear big names, you know.
Yeah.
They love to hear that you graduated from this school and this school, they will hire this guy. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people like to get into public speaking, but they have this great challenge of talking to a huge number of people.
Right.
I don't know if I may say it's because of their confidence level or their self-esteem or whatever. But then, how can they deal with stage fright to get into public speaking?
Thank you so much, Amara, for this question. I feel like at the end of the day, all listeners are going to pay school fees to you for going through this masterclass in public speaking, excluding our camera guys. Okay. All right. So I think day before yesterday, yesterday, we have what we call the Bloom Speakers Community. All speakers have trained around the world in 6 countries in 4 continents. They have a community that we have for my mentorship with them called the Bloom Speakers Community. So every day I write articles. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays to educate them, to give them tips and astuces. So yesterday I talked about that. I answered the question: how do you overcome shyness, stage fright, and all that? Good. So this is how you do that. There are so many ways you can do that, right? There are so many ways you can do that. And now on stage, once you're on stage, the first thing that will make you to overcome your stage fright is proper preparation. Okay, when you take time to prepare, you definitely always deliver well. One of the things that make people not to have confidence to talk is because they don't know what they want to talk about. They're not too confident on how far they're prepared. I bet you, even in the days of university, in the days of high school, what you've already prepared well, even when you're writing exams, when you're taking time to prepare, when you sit to write, you always have a lot of confidence in yourself. That is something that happens in public speaking. So when you prepare well, it's often said, proper preparation prevents poor performance. Yeah, that's the 5 P's, right? Yeah. That's powerful. And there's an African idiom that says that if you give me 5 hours to get a tree, I think it was one of the American presidents that said this, okay? She said, if you're giving 5 hours to get a tree, you take 4 hours, 30 minutes to sharpen your magic. Take 30 minutes to get a tree. It's amazing, right? Yeah, you're taking more time to sharpen. So logical. That's the power of preparation. And one of the next things that can make you to overcome stage fright is, I did this when I was starting my career as a trainer and speaker. When you're on stage, consider everybody down there to be your debtor. People that owe you lump sums of money, and they have not been paying the money. You're like, if you don't pay the money today, I will arrest you. You're like, the landlord, and then you're asking for rent to all your tenants. With that consciousness, it helps you to develop some confidence. Like, this guy owes me some cash, and you have to pay it back, right? So you can also twiddle your finger. When you wear your shoes, you can twist your toes to gain confidence. You can twist your toes. And the last and the most simple one is this: you breathe in and breathe out. There's a power in breathing in and breathing out. Okay, when you breathe in and breathe out, breathing in with your nostrils and breathing out with your mouth open, I bet you it's a powerful trigger to gaining self-confidence. And lastly, when you're on stage, when you just arrive on stage, never you talk. Like, there's what we call acclimating in public speaking. Acclimating is that the first 10 seconds, the first 1 to 10 seconds on stage, you don't say anything. It could be 30 seconds, it could be 5 seconds, it could be 6 seconds. When you come on stage, everybody wants you to talk. Don't talk. Right? That's what I train the students saying. Don't talk, because when you talk, they can predict you. You should not be ever predicted on stage. So when you come on stage, don't talk when they expect you to talk. And now when you talk when they don't expect you to talk, by surprising them when they least expect you to talk. And you do that by starting high. Like, hello everyone, I'm excited to be here today. How do you feel? That's how you do it. Okay. Now when you do that, okay, and when you ask a question, we call that engagement question. When you ask an engagement question and everybody waves their hands or everybody say yes, right? Now, automatically you gain confidence. Okay. Because like, they have accepted me. You flew. So, that adrenaline dies down. The adrenaline dies down. And what comes up now is the endorphin. It's the endorphin that steps up now and begin to manage the stage. So these are some techniques on how you can gain stage fright. You can reduce the stage fright. Okay.
Very quickly, we run out of time.
Yeah.
Talk to us about this accent of yours. Remember we were talking back there, I was like, when we came to that, you were like, hello, my name is Nshom, and I liked it. I'm like, okay, where did he get his accent from? And then when I went through your biography or your profile, if I may say, you studied in US, Kenya, South Africa. Yeah. So, I don't know, did this accent started coming about when you discovered that you wanted to become a public speaker?
Okay.
Or were you born like that? Definitely not, if I may chip in.
Okay. Favour, that's a very smart question by you. I bet you laugh a lot when I tell you the history behind this accent.
Okay.
I believe, well, that's what I think. They say there are 6 selves of human beings. The self you see yourself now, the self others see yourself now, the self God sees yourself now. That's the second First, second, and third. Now the first self is the self you see yourself to be.
Okay.
And then the fifth self is the self others see yourself to be. And then the last self is destiny, what God sees you to be.
Okay.
The way you see yourself now is not the same way we see you. And it's not the same way God sees you. Okay, the way you see yourself to be probably is different from how we see you to be, and also different from how God sees you to be.
Okay.
Now, I came from a home of 7 siblings. Alright, so I'm the fourth. In the 7 siblings, we have just one girl. Okay, precious sister. So, being the fourth, like, mom wanted another girl. So, my mother not girls, but she had just one girl. So, when I was conceived, she was praying to God to bless her with another girl, so that at least she can have 2 girls. And when I was delivered, I became a boy. So mom was like, okay, God, this one that I prayed for, you gave a boy. However, so when I was growing up, I had the girl accent. I had a girl accent. And what that means is that I started speaking like a girl. And you know what? I think that I'm speaking like a girl because mom wanted a girl.
Okay.
So I became a boy. Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay, so with all the connotations and pronunciations, it's as a result of mom's prayers.
I think so. I don't know what God thinks, but that's what I think. I don't know what he thinks too.
I want to buy that story. So let's talk about, we have 5 minutes to the end of the program.
Okay.
What one word can you give to youths who are watching the show right now?
Great. Thank you for that question. I was waiting for that. One word. Oh my. It's a very common word. You've been hearing about it. And developmental toughness. Yeah, mental toughness. Sounds crazy, but that's one word. This time comes where everybody will reject you. Yeah, no one will believe in you. And you feel like committing suicide. You feel like, just drinking poison and dying. You feel like just leaving the world. That is just like your assignment has ended. Yeah. Develop mental toughness. And how do you develop mental toughness? At times you need to get out of the clouds. Just be you alone. And then talk to God. Yeah. Get to God. And I learned this lesson from the ego. The ego's, more often in his lifetime, he goes out for 40 good days. When he's exhausted, he goes out for 40 days, where he removes all the feathers, and then he renewed himself. And when he comes back, he starts soaring. He doesn't fly, he soars.
Yes.
In the stratosphere. So develop mental toughness and believe in who God has called you to be, because you're not ordinary. You are a gift to the world, a blessing to the world. So don't act like you're not, because you are. And for this to happen, you must acknowledge that there are times where they will reject, the world will reject. Remember the people who were cheering Jesus and clamoring for Jesus, at times they want to crucify him.
That's right.
So anybody that's celebrating you today, don't be so excited, because tomorrow the same people who are celebrating you today, they will kneel to you. So you need to learn to develop mental toughness. So whatever happens to you, you accept it and say, this is for my good, this is for the training I have to go through, and don't run away from your trainings. Stick to it. Whatever challenge you have. Lastly, when I read the book, Obstacles, the way, this guy said there is this village where this king brought a big log of wood, kept on the road, blocked the road with it. And so everybody came from the village to remove the log. Unfortunately, did not. It was a visitor who came to that city, and then was a problem, that was a challenge to him, and he decided to take that as a challenge. And he did what? He went to the bush, got a stick, came and struggled to remove that log. And guess what? Under that log was gold that the king has kept. And so the king said, the person who solved this biggest problem in this village will get this gold. And I bet you, Favour, this visitor got that gold. So don't solve small problems, solve big problems, because in big problems is the big gold.
In big problems is the big goal. Now, what can our viewers do to get to you very quickly?
Simple. Go to my website, www.nshomoliver.com, and then you get access to my books, to my email address, to my telephone contacts, to my social media platforms.
And of course, to step out of the box.
And of course, yes, the step out of the box is actually on the website. You can buy it anytime, anywhere around the world.
At just $8.
Yeah, $8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Oliver Nshom. It was a pleasure to have you on set. I must say, it was so great. We are blessed to have you.
Amen. I'm glad that you are blessed, and so shall be our viewers. And I'm so grateful to be here. Amara and the team, I'm very grateful to you guys for thinking of having me here. I'm grateful. I pray God bless you and bless the work you're doing and reach out to thousands and millions and billions around the world.
Amen.
You're doing an amazing job, I must say this.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
And to you, dear viewers, we're always here because you are there. Thank you so very much for staying with us. I've been your host with the most, Favour Amarachi. Thanking you for watching. Until I see you again, take the rendezvous with us same time next week, Thursday, or you can catch the rebroadcast on Saturdays, 8 p.m. You can follow us on Facebook, Hi TV Cameroon, or you follow me on my page, The Hangout with Amara Show. Please do not forget to like, share, and comment. Until I see you again, bye-bye.